The following program has been furnished and paid for by Ask the Expert Show. KSEV is not responsible for its content or the products or services offered. Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local experts in the field of health, legal, financial, and home improvement. Now, here's your host, Gary Knight.
Hope your weekend is going great. Today, we got Fessa and Harlan standing by.
Good to be back with you, Gary.
Yeah, same here. You had a show. It's on Thursdays at 1 o'clock. Can you tell me a little more about it?
Yes, sir. Every Thursday, Health and Wealth Power Hour with yours truly, Harlan Pickett, talking about all things health and wealth.
I'm the aforementioned Gary Knight, or if you want to use my name, Gary Michael Knight, but it really doesn't matter. Harlan, do you have a middle name too, or do you know what
I do, Harlan Ray. And in fact, I am the second, Harlan Ray Pickett, the second. And when Mama said that, things were not looking good for me, Gary.
Ask the experts. We'll talk about that in a minute. Fessa, we're going to be talking about today, correct?
Yes, sir. Federal Employee Service Association.
Okay, here's a question. My son just graduated from college. He's still looking for work, but I guess now he will be kicked off by health insurance plan in the next couple of months. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand.
How can he get coverage for himself?
Okay, well, a couple of different things could be happening there, Gary. I'm pretty sure that just because he graduated from college, that he's probably not going to be kicked off unless he may be reaching the age where he could be. Some of the older plans, and you're right, I believe we answered this question previously, but that's okay. I understand sometimes people might have got confused even with the answer. And in some of the old plans, you got kicked off unless you could prove a child was of it going to college. And now that's not the case. They can be on your plan all the way until 26, at which time they have to find their own plan. Okay. So just graduating from college, unless they also reached that age of 26, does not mean they would lose the coverage.
I got you.
So there's some flexibility there.
Uh-huh.
Now, there also may be some situations where you would want that child to be on their own plan, particularly if they have graduated now and they're starting a new job. It could be variable. I would recommend they reach out to us and we can look at their individual situation and help guide them in the best way. But the bottom line to that is just graduating from college under most circumstances is not going to automatically kick them off the plan.
You talked about college. Here's some other school that graduates. Nursing school we'll talk about right now.
Yeah.
Just got accepted. School wants to charge me an outrageous amount for health insurance. However, they said if I had a qualified plan, I didn't have to purchase the insurance. What is a qualified plan, Harlan?
Qualified plan means that it meets all of the criteria that was set forth in the Affordable Care Act, or also known as Obamacare. There are certain qualifications a plan must have, things like it covers preventative care at no cost, covers birth control, covers pregnancy, covers immunizations. There's just a whole laundry list of things that would make it a qualified plan. And what this nursing school is saying is that you need to have health insurance if you're going to be in that type of environment, because as we know, or most folks I guess would know, is that if you're in a nursing school, you're also going to spend time working in a hospital or working in environments where there's a possibility you could get sick.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could have an accident. Something could happen. And
Never
so they want to
know.
make sure all those folks are covered properly and have the right type of coverage. And having a qualified plan means that virtually everything like that is going to be covered, whereas if someone was trying to, say, do a short-term plan or something else, there can be exclusions that if what happened to that person was excluded, then of course they would have no coverage. And that's what they're trying to alleviate there, is to make sure that whoever is going to that school has the proper coverage. And so they're making them pay a high price unless they find something outside of that. And yes, we can certainly help them do that too.
This person says, I'm considering getting my insurance license, starting a career in the industry. Would you recommend that?
That's a loaded question, isn't it? Wow.
I'm all head spinning.
Okay. Some full disclosure here on getting an insurance license. If you decide to go down that route, please be very cautious on who you elect to be your mentor. The company that you go to work for originally, make sure that they have a good mentorship, they have some good training, because it is not an easy industry to be in. It's not a cheap industry to be in, to get in. Really getting a license and studying for it is not terribly expensive, but most folks have to pay for leads, have to go in different routes to try to get those initial customers. And after you've been in it for a while, it can certainly be a very lucrative and very good business. But to start out, it's pretty tough. And if you're really serious about wanting to get into it, then you really should get with a broker that has your best interest in mind, which means that they have a mentor program, they have a good training program, and they're just not going to leave you high and dry and say, welcome to the team. Here's your enrollment platform. Here is the companies that we use, and here's some things to read. Good luck to you. It is a good industry. You get to meet a lot of good people. I've had a lot of fun being in insurance for the last decade plus, 15 coming up on 15 years now, and it's been a lot of fun. But there's no doubt that I've seen a lot of people come and go in this industry because they just thought it was going to be much easier than it really is. So if you're willing to work, you're a go-getter, and you want to hustle, it's a great industry because you can help a lot of people.
Have you done insurance? Have you worked for an insurance company before, done things like that, getting licenses for insurance companies?
I have never worked directly for an insurance company because I've just always been independent. And while I represent a number of insurance companies by appointment or via appointment, I have never worked directly for an insurance company. That's just, I didn't want to have that be captive that way. I wanted to be able to offer multiple options, whatever the best is for my client. I want to be able to offer them that. Good. And if you go to work directly for an insurance company, then all you can offer is what they have.
Let's talk about Social Security.
Okay.
Everybody knows that by now, I think. This person's already on Social Security, but they feel like I may get more if I claimed on a former spouse. Does that make sense? How would I go about doing that?
Yeah, okay. So what's happening is we have somebody that has already gotten their Social Security, and maybe they didn't work a really long time. Let's just say they're getting $600, $700, $800, and they have a spouse, an ex-spouse in this case, that maybe got a lot. Maybe they had a long time. Maybe they worked for 40 years at a fairly high-paying job, and they'd be getting, say, $3,000 a month in Social Security. Yeah. Well, as a former spouse, this individual would be entitled to half of that person's Social Security. So in this case, the example we're using, $1,500. That could be the case. It might not be the case, Gary. There's no way for us to know for sure what the situation is, but there is definitely a possibility that half of a spouse's Social Security could be higher than your own Social Security, depending on the circumstances. And if you were married to somebody for 10 years or more, you are entitled to claim on their Social Security. Now, it doesn't affect what they get, but it can affect what you get.
So it's 10 years.
Yes, 10 years. You have to be married for 10 years. There's a couple of caveats to that if accidents were involved and such, but as a general rule, you had to be married for 10 years. And the big thing to remember there is you need to keep up with that by having an account with Social Security. Typically, Social Security is going to give you the highest amount automatically that you qualify for, but you must have an account with them. You go out to ssa.gov, go through the whole verification process of who you are, make sure you put your entire history in there of who you were married to and how long you were, make sure all that information is in there, and Social Security can keep up with it, keep track of it, and then change what you should be receiving automatically. In this case, if the young lady or gentleman, it doesn't say which one it is in a situation where they haven't done that, then they need to contact Social Security directly. They can find that number on ssa.gov to contact them and go through that process so that they can make sure that they're getting the highest amount of Social Security available.
Very good. Harlan Pickett's with us today. And let me see if I can memorize the number that you gave earlier, 512-687-6202.
That's it, 512-687-6202, or gofessa.com. That's GOFESA.com.
I never have time to say it. I think about it. Thanks for returning again. We really appreciate your business here on Ask the Experts. This person's turning 70 years of age in 3 months. I wish I could say that. We'll be retiring at that time. Contacted Social Security. They gave me 3 options. One, to backdate my Social Security by 1 year, and I would get a big lump sum of money, but that would lessen my monthly benefit moving forward. Now, the next was to go ahead and take the maximum amount that I can take. which is at 70 years of age. The third option is to backdate my Social Security to the beginning of 2021, get a smaller lump sum benefit, but not having as much a reduction in my future monthly benefits. What's the best option that I can take?
Okay, so let me clarify what is really happening here. So this individual is fixing to turn 70. In case you don't know, when you reach 70, you are eligible now for the maximum amount of Social Security that you can get.
Okay.
It will never increase after you've reached 70. So even if you waited until you were 72 years of age, you still wouldn't get any more monthly. It's a maximum amount. And it all depends on when you became eligible for Social Security, of whether it's up to 132% or whether it's just up to 124% of what your actual benefit would have been whenever you reach full retirement age. But this gentleman, because he's fixing to turn 70 years of age, he's in a great position because he's going to get his full amount if he just takes it when he turns 70. That means that's going to increase his monthly benefit to the maximum allowed in his situation. But what Social Security is offering him is a chance to, say, almost do a do-over, but act like you took it at, say, 69 years old. And what that means is that he would get a lump sum of a full year's worth of benefit. So let's just say that is an extra $100. Let's just use that as an extra $100. That means that if that was the case, that extra $100, then he would get a lump sum payment for that whole year of just $1,200. Now, I'm sure it's a lot more than that. I'm just giving you an example.
Okay.
Gary.
Makes sense.
So he'd get a $1,200, and then they would have a slight reduction of what his benefit is going forward. The next one, I'm going to do them in a different order than what he said. The next one is, instead of going back a full year to when he was 69, they're going to do it back to the beginning of this year. So they're saying if you would have claimed on January 1st of this year, then you would have been 69 in, say, 3 or 4 or 5 months, something like that. And so they're going to give him a lump sum going all the way from the first of this year to now, and then a lesser reduction of what his future income would be. The next one is just carry on, no lump sum. You start getting the largest amount that you're eligible for on the day that you turn 70 or the month that you turn 70, and we're going to start sending you that check. Now, the way he asked me which one is the best, and I can tell you right now, I have no idea.
Everybody's different.
Everyone's different. And the reason why, first of all, he's in great shape. He's in great shape because he's waited so long to do it. Now, this is one of these situations like this is exactly why the Social Security optimization process was designed, and why you can go through that whole process free right there with FESA. You can go on to the FESA website, gofesa.com, and request a Social Security optimization report done for you, absolutely zero cost. Someone will call you up, they'll plug in your information, they'll send you out the report. In this gentleman's case, it would show him the best possible option. But if you just want to think about it, you don't want to go through that process, which I highly recommend you go through that process because it doesn't cost you anything, and you can get the numbers right there, I'd say in black and white, but it's not black and white because these are a beautiful color graph that you get there. But the bottom line here is it depends. I know this sounds crazy, but it depends on what your life expectation is.
Yeah.
Because if you are 70 years old, but family history and even how you feel medically or whatever conditions you have going on right now make you feel like you're not going to make it another 5-10 years, then you want that big lump sum, right? Give me my big lump sum money, and I don't care what my future income is because I want the money now.
Yes.
But if you are very healthy and your parents lived into their 90s or even in their late 80s, and family history, you got brothers and sisters that are still alive and kicking, everything's going well, you really don't have anything on your charts or on the horizon that you can see, then maybe that having that greater amount annually or monthly is the best route to go. So there's a lot of things that are taken into consideration whenever you do that Social Security optimization. You put all that information in there, and then it can give you what the numbers show is the best opportunity for you. And once again, Gary, to do that, you just go out to gofesa.com and request that Social Security optimization done for you.
Harlan Pickett is with yours truly, Gary Knight, on Ask the Experts. We'll be right back.
The Federal Employee Service Association, FESA, helps federal and non-federal employees. In 2008, a group of individuals with over 100 years of combined experience in financial services created an organization with a service-first approach. They began by becoming federal benefits specialists and helping those employees understand their benefits at no cost. In 2017, they took their experience helping federal employees and made the same services available to the non-federal worker. With a service-first, at no-cost approach, they utilized the retirement income planning philosophy of people are living longer and must have a guaranteed income stream they cannot outlive. At FESA, one of their newest free services is Social Security Maximization. Highly trained individuals, supported by sophisticated software, are available to make Social Security claiming a peace-of-mind experience. An individual can receive hundreds of thousands of dollars and sometimes millions of dollars from their Social Security benefits. It is very important that decisions are made that maximize that income stream. Whether they're working with Social Security, pensions, or IRAs, FESA begins with a free personal benefits analysis to help you understand which benefits are available to you and what you may be paying for that you cannot use. Human resource departments work for companies, but FESA works for you. Contact FESA today at 512-687-6202 or log on to gofesa.com. That's gofesa.com.
We are back. It's Ask the Experts with Gary Knight and from FESA, Harlan Pickett. And your number over there is 512-687-6202. Gary Knight, Harlan Pickett, Ask the Experts, FESA, F-E-S-A, and that means...
Federal Employee Service Association, and now also serving the private sector. Been working with federal employees since 2008, and in 2017 we started working in the private sector also. And as you know, Gary, we've been working here for the last few months, right here on KSEV, getting the word out that we are ready to help everybody.
And we mean everybody.
Yes, sir.
And it's growing every day.
Every day.
Oh, boy.
More people are retiring every day, Gary.
I know.
Think about how many people were forced in retirement during the COVID. We're not really ready. We had not even planned. We lost a lot of teachers, a lot of folks across the country that just went into retirement. Lots of doctors. We lost lots of doctors, too, Gary, because of COVID. They just didn't want to deal with it anymore. They retired, and some of them were not in the optimal position, but they went ahead and did that. Now, a lot of those folks are having to find jobs again because they were certainly not in the right situation. And, we help Americans retire. That's what FESA does, and we want to make sure everyone's in their optimal position.
Some of those businesses closed down. That's forcing a lot of them to find other jobs. Restaurants really suffered, too.
Yeah, restaurants did. A lot of small business owners now had to go back to work for somebody else after they may have left those positions years ago and started their own business. It certainly has changed the whole dynamic in this country and, of course, across the state of Texas where we focus. We can help anybody anywhere, but obviously home is Texas, and that's where we focus. We want to make sure that Texans have the right retirement, have the right coverage, and we meet their needs in every way we possibly can.
This question coming up next, it doesn't say which sex they are. I've heard of all kinds of different life insurance policies, and of course I've heard the whole life policy. But recently I talked to an agent that was offering a modified whole life policy. That's entirely different than just the whole life policy, obviously.
Yes, sir.
He tried to explain it to me, but I just couldn't get it. Do you know what a modified whole life policy is?
Yes, sir, I do. A modified whole life policy is, surprisingly enough, a whole life policy that's been modified, Gary.
Oh. Simple as that.
All right, so
that's the easy
I don't think
answer.
That's the answer anyone was looking for, but it was kind of right there in the name, so I thought I'd just throw that out there.
That's all right.
So what happens on a modified whole life policy is typically the premium that you're paying. Let's just say, for instance, you have a $100 policy. That's what your monthly premium is $100. Typically, you have the flexibility of putting part of that $100 towards the premium, so it will determine how much insurance that you have. Let's say that you wanted to do a 50-50 split. So $50 of that's going to go towards my whole life policy, which let's just say that's going to buy you $15,000 worth of coverage.
Okay.
And then your other $50 will go to some type of investment or other type of fund. Some of them go as crazy as letting you put into Roth IRAs, or I even knew one time that you could invest in Cougarans. How crazy is that?
Wow.
Right? But you can invest in gold. You can invest in any number of options on many of these policies. Not all of them are the exact same. Some of them just go into a little side fund. that may, make you 2 to 4% at a guaranteed rate. But a modified policy gives you a little more flexibility than a true whole life policy. Now, the one thing to remember is that whole life side still works just like a whole life policy. So the money going towards that does build a cash value, but you are determining how much goes towards it. It's just a little more flexible product. For some folks, it is a great option. But a lot of times you can get those same type of benefits in a universal policy. But some folks just like a whole life policy. I know that there's a bad words out there about whole life policy sometimes too. It really just depends on what's right for the individual. That there's just no doubt about it. You can't just say that none of those policies are good for nobody, because that's just not the true statement. There are some folks that whole life policies are great for, some that term policies are great for, universal, and of course modified too. It would just depend on the individual circumstances, and we can certainly help you with that at FESA. Go out to gofesa.com or 512-687-6202.
We're talking to Harlan Pickett. And another question. I'm turning 65 come July. I signed up for Medicare Part A as well as Part B, and now I want to get some type of Medicare supplement. It goes on to say his sister has a Plan F. And that's all. That's exactly what he wants. However, everyone I talk to tells me I cannot get a Plan F, that I'm not eligible. They all want to sell me a Plan G. Am I really not eligible for a Plan F? If so, is Plan G really the best option for me?
Well, he is right. He is not eligible for Plan F, and the reason for that is
there no Plan F?
There is still a Plan F. However, if you turn 65 in the year 2020 or later, you are not eligible for Plan F. It is being phased out. So someone that turned 65 before 2020 can still get a Plan F.
Okay.
Thus, his sister has one.
Yeah.
But he is not eligible because he's just now turning 65. That's what he just told us. July of this year, he's turning 65, so therefore he is not eligible for a Plan F. Now, full information here that you need to know. A Plan F and Plan G are virtually the same. The only difference is that on a Plan G, you must meet your Part B, which is your doctor's visits, x-rays, lab work, type of stuff like that. Your Part B deductible, which for 2021 is $203.
Oh, okay.
Only $203. That's really not that much, especially when you think of the fact that having a Plan F was usually going to cost you about $600 a year more than a Plan G. So you've more than made up for it in the cost by getting a Plan G. In fact, I have many, many clients that have been on Plan Fs that are wanting to switch to Plan Gs now because the premium on their Plan Fs has gone way up over $180, $200 plus dollars.
Wow.
And they can now get on a Plan G for about $120 to $130. Well, that's a huge savings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not really losing much coverage-wise, and so they're a lot happier having virtually the same coverage but at a whole lot less cost. And remember, now that they've stopped selling Plan Fs, then you're going to have a smaller risk pool overall for the Plan F, and that means that the price is never going to go down again. It's always going to go up as less people are on that plan. The insurance companies will start squeezing those folks out. The price is just going to continue to go up, Gary, is what's going to happen. So it's just a natural thing. But, yeah, Plan G is a really good option.
Harlan Pickett, 512-687-6202. That's with FESA. And Harlan, I know the slogan of your Eagle Care Health Solutions product is, it's not insurance, it's better. I ask you, what does that really mean?
Well, that's because it's not insurance. Isn't that kind of funny? I do a show about health insurance and such, and then all of a sudden the product that I really tout the most, the Eagle Care Health Solutions, is not insurance. Well, that's because I've talked to you guys a lot about how limiting health insurance can be and how in this country we've been brainwashed into thinking we have to have health insurance to get good quality health care.
Yeah.
But when we designed Eagle Care Health Solutions, our primary focus was to make sure you got good health care, not have good health insurance. Because we all know the cost of health insurance has skyrocketed, and many times you have a plan and you're afraid to use it because you got high deductibles or you have no copays. You don't have any way to know how is my cost really going to be contained if I start using this plan. Well, the Eagle Care Health Solutions plan relies on, you don't have to have a network, and it relies on health shares where people can work together in managing those, and we also promote wellness. Our unique policies also include things such as mental health care, Teladoc. We do share in prescription drug cost. There's a number of different things that work very similar to health insurance, but it's not health insurance. So you're not limited to these HMO networks. You're not limited in doctors saying, no, I don't take that because it takes forever to get paid. No, we have built these plans to make sure that you can access the greatest health care for you and your families. That's why we say it's not health insurance, it's better because it was designed to be better, Gary.
I've heard you mention a few times the opportunity to get a free personal benefits analysis. What all does that entail, Harlan?
Yes, sir. That is definitely one of the great benefits that we offer at FESA. You can go out to gofesa.com and you can request a personal benefits analysis. Now, remember, our goal at FESA is your success. Part of that success is to make sure that you have a great retirement income. And so we help you with your retirement income planning. That is not the same as financial planning. We are not financial advisors. We help you with retirement income planning because that's what most folks are most involved. They really want to know, well, what am I going to have at retirement? And so we focus on that. Well, your personal benefits analysis takes a snapshot of where you're at right now so that you can find out, am I paying for benefits that really I cannot get anything from? It was amazing to me, Gary, how many people pay for benefits that they just cannot use and they just don't even realize it. It's something they may have had for years and they don't realize that it really doesn't serve the purpose that it was whenever they purchased it years ago. But we want to make sure that you're in the very best products and you're in the very best shape. A lot of times we go through those things and say, man, you have made some great decisions. Unfortunately, too many times we go through and folks realize that, wow, they're not where they thought they should be. They're at an age now where they might be running out of time to really get the kind of retirement income that they were hoping to have. And so getting that personal benefits analysis, once again, zero cost to get that done, can be the game changer for them that sets them up to have the retirement of their dreams.
So just because you've signed up for the first time maybe, or you want to change a plan, you can always do that, correct?
Absolutely. Yes,
sir. You change, and so do the plans that add on or subtract.
That's right. The plans change over the years. Just because something was good for you whenever you were 25, at 45, that plan may not be good for you at all, or there may even be better options. The one thing to remember is, even in the insurance industry and the financial industry, all of these, there has been a lot of evolving of plans and products, and the plans that your parents signed up for years ago are just completely different now. They've really done some great evolution of plans, and there's just a lot more options out there, and I think people just miss out on that.
Harlan, we're out of time. 512-687-6202, gofesa.com. Have I missed anything, Harlan Pickett?
Yes, sir, you sure have, man. Don't forget you can catch us every Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Health and Wealth Power Hour with your host, Harlan Pickett. Listen to us. Do it.
And I'm Gary Knight along with Harlan Pickett. Ask the Experts. Have a great weekend.
Thanks again for tuning in for another Ask the Expert show right here on AM 700 KSEV.